Daisy and the Trouble with Christmas by Cass Gray. Chapter 1. The trouble with Christmas is it's too exciting. If Christmas wasn't so exciting, then what happened in the school Christmas play this afternoon would never have happened in the first place. Which isn't my fault. Ask Gabby. Ask Paula Potts. Ask anyone who isn't Mrs. Peters, or any of the other teachers, or my mom or Gabby's mom and dad. It's all Christmas's fault. Not mine. If Christmas hadn't made me get so excited, then everything would have been just fine. Except it wasn't fine. It was a bit embarrassing, really. Chapter 2. The trouble with Christmas excitement is it gets you all over. It goes into your toes and your fingers and your elbows and your hair and your eyeballs and up your jumper. It wiggles into your brain through your ears. It gets you in your lips so you can't stop smiling. It gets you in your legs so you can't stop skipping. It gets you inside your tummy so your heartbeat won't stop going bibbidi-bibbidi-bop all the time. It even gets you in your eyelashes, so you can't close your eyes properly when you go to bed. And it lasts for ages. My Christmas excitement started in September. September is when all the Christmassy things come into the shops. My mom says it's a disgrace putting Christmassy things in the shops in September. My mom says that shops should only put their Christmassy things on the shelves in about November when it's nearly Christmas, not September when it's still nearly summer. But Elle thinks she's wrong. I think shops should get rid of all their normal things, apart from sweets, in about January, and then have Christmassy things on their shelves until Christmas. I love Christmassy things. In fact, when I'm about 27, that's what I'm going to be, a Christmassy thing shop owner. Who only sells Christmassy things. Unless Santa gives me a job, that is. The trouble with Santa is you never get to actually see him. Even when he comes down the chimney with all your presents, you won't see him. That's because he magics you asleep before he comes. Did you know that when Santa touches the side of his nose with his finger, it makes him small enough to go up and down chimneys? It's true because I've seen it in a book. You will never ever get to see the real Santa because his magic is so good. You can still write to him though. I wrote a letter to Santa in October. It said, "To Santa. Santa's house. The North Pole. Dear Santa, please when I grow up can I be one of your helpers? I will try not to grow up too much because I know elves are usually very short, but I'm really good at wrapping presents, plus I can bring my own red scissors, plus I would be really good at feeding Rudolph. So please can I have a job when I'm about 17? Love, Daisy." The trouble with writing letters to Santa is they have to be sent to the North Pole, which is the farthest away place in the world. The trouble with walking to the North Pole is it will really make your postman's feet ache. My mom says the quickest way to send a letter to Santa is to magic it there. I thought she was going to say by hovercraft or something, but she didn't. She said if I gave my letter to her on Bonfire night, she would post it for me then. So I did. Plus I wrote my Christmas list to Santa too. Dear Santa, I know it isn't even December yet, but my mom says she's going to magic my letter and my Christmas list to you on Bonfire night. In case you didn't know, I've been really good all year. Well, nearly all year. And when I wasn't that good, it wasn't my fault. So please can I have these things for my Christmas presents? Pogo stick that doesn't fall over, skateboard with engine, yo-yo that does tricks. Coloring pencils that don't snap, coloring pens that don't run out, red and white football that scores goals, quite a fluffy hamster, bike that fires torpedoes, bubble bath that makes the water green, craft scissors with pointy ends. Worm house with rayol worms. Big cactus. Chocolate money, or real money to buy chocolate money. Skipping rope long enough for about 20 people. Super Soaker water pistol with about 10 different action squirts. New watch, PS. If you run out of room on your sleigh, can I definitely have the bike that fires torpedoes first? Love, Daisy. When my mom read my Christmas list, she said Santa didn't make bikes with torpedoes. Then she said that I would need to be on my very best behavior right up to Christmas Day if I was going to get even half of the things I'd written down. So I promised I wouldn't get into even the slightest bit of trouble. Not before Christmas. Not during Christmas. Not even after Christmas. I was doing really, really well until today. Sigh. I do hope Santa wasn't watching the school Christmas play this afternoon. Chapter 3. Before I tell you about what happened at the school Christmas play today, I must tell you what happened on Bonfire Night in November. I love Bonfire Night, don't you? When we went to the bonfire party, there were loads of people everywhere. Everyone had Wellington boots on, and lots of people were holding sparklers. It was really exciting. Not as exciting as Christmas though. Plus there was the hugest bonfire in the world. It was so big, I could feel how hot it was even when I was standing a really long way away. That's the trouble with bonfires, you mustn't ever go anywhere near them because they might set you alight. Or make your Wellingtons melt off. In the field where the bonfire was I couldn't see any letter boxes at all. It was very dark because it was night time, but I was sure there was nowhere I could post my Christmas letter to Santa. But Mum said she wouldn't need a post box or a postman to post my Christmas list, she would need a man in a yellow jacket. Men in yellow jackets are called marshals. Their job is to let off all the fireworks on bonfire night, and to make sure no one gets too close to the bonfire. Their other job is to send Christmas letters to Santa. The marshal whom my mum spoke to looked really kind. After my mum had whispered in his ear, he smiled at me and asked me for my Santa letters. So I gave them to him. And then guess what he did? He put them on the bonfire. At first I didn't understand. But Mum told me that bonfire magic would send all the words on my letters right up into the air, through the clouds and past the stars, all the way to Santa's home. Just like that. She said if I watched the bonfire carefully I would see the words from other children's Santa letters whizzing up into the sky. And she was right. There were loads of sparks flying up from the bonfire all over the place. I saw all the words LD written to Santa fly right up into the sky. Santa, reindeer, pogo stick, bike and torpedo glowing really orange before they went black and disappeared. It was brilliant. Mum said she was absolutely sure that Santa would get my Christmas letter and my Christmas list. Which made me even more excited. All I had to do now was wait for Christmas. Chapter 4. The trouble with November is it's got 30 days in it. If November only had one day in it, it wouldn't have gone so slowly. I've now been waiting 41.5 days since bonfire night, but there are still 9 more days to go till Christmas Day. Oh, I do wish Christmas would hurry up. The trouble with waiting for Christmas is it even makes the bits of you that don't usually get excited get really excited too. This morning when I was getting dressed, even my school socks felt excited. Then, when I tried on my school play costume this morning, I got excited tingles all over. The school Christmas play happened this afternoon. Kind of. I couldn't wait for it to start. Trouble is, then I couldn't wait for it to end. Because it all went wrong. Very wrong, actually. Mom says things wouldn't have gone wrong at all if I hadn't got myself so excited. Gabby said that when it all went wrong, it was really funny and all my friends thought it was really funny too. But Mrs. Peters, my teacher, said I had let myself down, my class down, the school down and everyone in the audience down too. Oh dear. I hope I haven't let Santa down. And anyway, it wasn't my fault. It was Mrs. Peters' fault. It wasn't me who told me to be in the school Christmas play today. It was Mrs. Peters. It wasn't me who told me to carry the baby Jesus over to Mary today. It was Mrs. Peters. And it wasn't me who told me to cradle and rock the baby Jesus before I handed him over to Mary today. It was Mrs. Peters. So if anyone should be in for it, it shouldn't be me. It should be Mrs. Peters. In fact, it should be Mrs. Peters who has to go and see the headmaster at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Not me. Chapter 5. It was about 3 weeks ago that Mrs. Peters told